Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Ring of Honor Claudio Castagnoli figure from Jazwares. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks awesome, though there are a couple bits of weirdness, and we'll talk about that. But speaking of the likeness, this is definitely Jazwares, again, continuing to get better. That's very much Claudio. They did a really good job here, and it might seem like, softer details, but I think it doesn't look cartoony, and I think that's the line that they've had to kind of overcome here, and I think they accomplished that. Pretty good job here, especially with the kind of, the lighter hair for the shaved head. It's definitely very definitive. It's not quite as faded as it probably could be, but still a lot better than they've done in the past, and it's kind of cool to see them advancing that. Not only that, but I think in terms of the formula, the buck, the body, that's Claudio's physique. I think they did a fantastic job there, especially with the longer torso. So just really nice job. Talking about the weirdness, actually, that brings us to that. The hands definitely seem small, and we've seen this with Jazwares AEW stuff before. Part of it here is it looks like there should be wraps there, and obviously, normally they would paint in wraps, but Claudio doesn't wear them. And they also, I think, just use the same size hands for most of the figures. And here it looks a little weird. It's not off-putting, but it's definitely noticeable, I think. So yeah, there's that. And the other thing is we do get a very gappy torso, and we'll see that in articulation as well. But I mean, that top joint is very removed, but that does give us range. So there's that. Then the gear, love the shade of red they used here, nice and bright. Nice clean tampos for the leopard print. You can see Claudio's name here on the right thigh, and then some just basic black boots with a nice sculpt. So yeah, definitely a good looking figure. Nice assortment of accessories here, so let's take a look. And right out of the box, we do get a pair of relaxed kinda secret pants. Then we get a pair of fists. Then we get two different head sculpts. So we get the one we looked at before with the shaved head and the eyebrows slightly raised, a little bit of attitude going on there. And then we have a second head sculpt with him with hair. And again, great sculpt. Obviously, you can tell it's Claudio. I think they did a really good job with the sharpness of the paint here. Also like the kind of fade from the blonde into the brunette going on. So really cool likeness. And yeah, it's a really cool addition. Then we get a Ring of Honor mic. So a mic sculpt we've seen a million times before, but we get the, Ring of Honor logo on it. So nice there. And then we get some apparel. So we get the leopard print scarf with the Swiss cross on it. And really like the way they did this. You can see that it actually tied up here. So it is a full piece, and they just kind of sewed it in place, which I'm very happy about. You just remove the head of the figure, and then this slides right off. So some really nice depth, a very well planned out piece of soft goods. Speaking of which, what really sold me on getting this figure was the coat. And yeah, I was like, that just looks like a really cool soft goods coat. And I was right, that it is lined. It is this kind of fake pleather. It looks awesome in hand. Nice bright colors for the Swiss crosses. Just really cool all around. We get the tie going on here. We get it, it's finished, as etc. Pardon me. And yeah, just a really nice piece of soft goods, and a lot of work went into this one. So really nice to see, and definitely, worth having in there. So that will do it for accessories. Articulation balance here are wonderful. As you can see, freestanding kicks for days. Took no time to get into, so that is awesome. Getting into the nitty gritty, we do get a ball hinge for the head, so we can look up very nicely, can look all the way down. Not really any tilt, but we do get rotation. Hinge and swivel at the arms, so coming just past our T-pose. We do get bicep swivel, double jointed elbows bringing us to here. We do have hinge and swivel at the wrists, all horizontal. Then we get a ball joint at the diaphragm, ball joint at the waist, and that gives us some excellent crunch, though mine definitely pops out at the waist very easily. So we get that awesome crunch, get that awesome arch, but as you can see, just like kind of comes right out. So it's a little frustrating. So you get about that far kind of before it comes out. So still some fantastic range. We get some side to side, we get a little bit of rotation, but again, only from the top. The sculpt is a lot tighter at the waist. For our hips, coming out almost full splits, positively beautiful. Front kick, not perfect, but we do get close to 90. We get thigh swivel, there we go. Double jointed knees bring us to there. We get boot swivel, we get perfect point, the tiniest bit of forward, and then some really nice rocker. So that will do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here it is with some of their Jazwares wrestling figures. With some other wrestling lines. With some domestics. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with articulated icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the Ring of Honor Claudio Castagnoli figure from Jazwares is that this is an awesome figure. Aesthetically, it looks awesome. My only two major gripes really with this figure are the small hands, which is weird. But again, not something we haven't seen from Jazwares before. And the fact that the torso just pops off really easily. And that might just be mine. So that's a personal gripe with what might be just my figure. Hopefully, if you get it, it's not as bad. But beyond that, like, the accessories are fantastic. Again, the figure looks great. It's just like, there's really great packaging. I didn't show that because I don't usually show the packaging, but they did do a very good job here in that regard. So certainly if you're a fan of old school Ring of Honor and Claudio just in general, absolutely recommend picking this up. This is a Jazwares Vault exclusive, as all the Ring of Honor figures are right now. I kind of hope they move out of that, but none of them have sold out so far to my knowledge, including this one, which means it's still available on the Jazwares Vault. So I will have a link in the description to the page so you can pick this up if you are so interested. So that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. And if you did, hope to see you back, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, and more. So if any of that appeals to you, come on back. Let's talk about some really nice plastic and just escape the world. But at the end of the day, I just hope you're well. Hope that all of your toy dreams come true. And most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.